Welcome to our Express tonight, and we have Old Mutual. Today we're going to talk about Kila Kiliometer Covered, and with us we do have our very able and beautiful Old Mutual professionals in insurance. So we have Tim and Henry who will be taking us through the whole space. So we'll just start from the top, and thank you all of you guys for joining us tonight, and we'll be doing this every last Thursday of the month. So we'll just start from the top. Henry, talk to us about insurance in general.
Thank you. First and foremost, I would want to introduce myself. My name is Gisumwa Henry. I'm a manager, bank assurance and training in Old Mutual Insurance Company. When it comes to insurance, it's just a simple practice where the insured identifies a specific risk and decides to transfer that particular risk to another entity. And this entity is the insurance company, in this case, Old Mutual Insurance. So what does Old Mutual do? It assesses the risk and then gives the price for it. The client pays, and then Old Mutual assumes the specific risk that has been accepted. So insurance is a risk transfer mechanism at a premium.
Thank you, Henry. Tim, so the first thing obviously is walk us through what you do at Old Mutual and talk about types of insurance that we have at Old Mutual.
Thank you. My name is Timothy Tsabu. I work for Old Mutual as a sales manager under the general insurance department. In terms of the coverage that we offer at Old Mutual, we have various aspects. That is general insurance, life, and medical insurance. But our focus today will be basically on motor insurance. Back to your question, the various types of motor insurance that we have private motor insurance, and by private we look at the domestic and personal usage of your vehicle. Any exposures as you as the owner of the vehicle is what we cover. The other aspect, we look at commercial. Of course, we are aware we have trucks on the roads. Under commercial, we have own goods, and under own goods, we look at your personal business venture. For instance, if I may give an example, if you may allow, if I run a hardware, and after my clients purchase and I have to deliver these goods to them, that is what we call quote-unquote own goods motor commercial insurance. Then we also have the aspect of general cartage. Under general cartage, we do not give any caveat. It's not cut into size. Anything that you do under that truck is covered, be it that you're ferrying goods from Gikomba to a different market, or you do cube by cube moving, that is what is covered under the general insurance aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim. And so, Henry, you've driven for the last 20 years without an incident, and I keep coming back to this, and we've obviously had a discussion about this. So talk to us about the different levels in motor insurance.
Perfect. Thank you very, very much. Yes, I thank God that I have driven for the last 20 years, paid premium, but I have no pain because I am well protected. It gives me a peace of mind throughout, because other than the indemnity that can be there, there is the inconvenience that comes with having an accident. But if it so happens, I am ready to pay for insurance, and I've transferred that particular risk to Old Mutual Insurance Company. Now, under Old Mutual, we have three main levels of covers that we do provide based on the client's ability and options to choose. We have the broadest or the widest, that is comprehensive insurance, where we cover the client for risks that include damage to the vehicle as a result of an accident, collision on the road, or even when you are involved in a self-involving accident. It doesn't have to be a collision with another vehicle. You can collude with a tree, you can run all over. That is covered under comprehensive insurance. Your vehicle can also be damaged by fire. That is covered under comprehensive. Your vehicle can be stolen, or an attempted thief comes to break into your vehicle. That is taken care of under comprehensive insurance. In addition to that, we have what we call third-party liabilities. Under comprehensive, we also have the third and it protects the insured against third-party bodily accidental damage. So if the vehicle is damaged, is stolen, we do provide cover for that. What about if it is damaged by fire? Yes, we will come in and be able to actually attend to that particular vehicle and pay, compensate the client. And then we have, of course, the third-party liabilities that takes care of third-party property damage and third-party bodily injury, including death. And then, of course, we take care of the legal expenses and damages awarded as a result of third-party liabilities. And then we have the lien or the act cover. As you will need to understand, is that motor is a compulsory insurance by law in Kenya under Cap 405. You are required to make sure that you take insurance before you drive in a public road. So the thinnest layer is third-party liabilities, which takes care of third-party property damage and third-party bodily injury and the legal expenses and damages that can be awarded as a result of any liabilities because of negligence when using the motor vehicle. So those are the three main levels of motor insurance that we do over at Old Mutual Insurance.
So that's interesting, and I want to take it back to you. So it's currently raining in Nairobi, and it's been raining for the last, so a year ago it also rained like really heavily and it flooded. So my question to Henry would be, I'm leaving work at a time like this, and all of a sudden there's floods at the expressway. So what is Old Mutual doing towards, things like this, which quote unquote, acts of nature or acts of God? Do you protect against such?
Perfect, yes. Our comprehensive insurance actually does cover what we call natural catastrophes like that. So if there are floods and you pump into the floods accidentally and your vehicle, especially the vehicles from Europe, they are very, very sophisticated, and the ones they come in contact with the fire, they cease. Actually, as a matter of fact, we are proud to say this year, 2025, I think the highest motor claim we have paid is damage due to floods to one of our clients whose vehicle was submerged in a parking in his home. And after that, when the floods went down, the engine ceased and all the electrical apparatus in that particular vehicle ceased. On assessment, it was declared a write-off, and we have paid the claim. So acts of nature like floods, thunder, they are covered under our motor comprehensive insurance policy.
That's very reassuring. And so I'll swing this to you, Tim. Why should I come to Old Mutual? Why Old Mutual?
Thank you. I think that's a very good question. First and foremost, just from the word Old Mutual, if I put old in caps, then it shows you that we've been there, done and trusted. We are celebrating 180 years in terms of what we do. And secondly, I'd want to put across the aspect of we are a composite company. And by this, what I mean is that we have different lines of business. We have the general insurance, as I mentioned earlier, medical, life, investment. And for those who might not know, we've had shares in Faulu controlling shares. So Faulu is also under the Old Mutual umbrella. So we have a variety of aspect and expertise that you can tap in. But mainly focusing on motor insurance, I'd say, one, if you look at Old Mutual, we've spread our wings far and wide. We've gone to the aspect of ensuring that our turnaround times in terms of claims payment is top-notch. Our presence speaks volumes. We are on every other big town within Kenya. Talk of Nairobi, Nakuru, Mombasa, Kisumu, Meru, Eldoret, our presence is there. And just to ensure that our clients are sorted out better, what we've done is we've come up with assessment centers that once you're involved in an accident, the material damage is assessed at our assessment center. We have capable clientele and personnel to do that. The reports are out and the repair authority comes in handy within the set timelines. The other aspect I'll say is the variety of covers that we give as Old Mutual. We are very keen in terms of the needs of our clients, and that's what drives us in terms of insurance penetration. On motor business, I'd say this year we've launched what we call OM Rescue. And under OM Rescue, we look at it from the aspect we had the clients cry, and we played by the ear. So under OM Rescue, at 1,000 bob, you get 3 benefits under it. And we look at it as a tool of quick rescue mechanism, just to ensure, one, that road rescue is top-notch. Should you be involved in an accident, we send our personnel to come and assist. 2 is about medical response in terms of ambulance response. We all know accidents, some are fatal, some come up with serious injuries, and upon call, within a few minutes, we are able to reach out to our clients and take them to the nearest hospital. Lastly is the aspect of safety. We look at it from the aspect of you're involved in an accident and you feel insecure within weird hours of the night. Within a phone call, we'll be there with a rescue team that is armed and is able to protect you against any forces of exposure. I'd also want to mention that we have an inbuilt mechanism within our motor private aspect, whereby we have the personal accident cover. Majority of our clients are now empowered and are able to understand that under motor insurance, what is covered is the asset, and the asset here is the vehicle. The aspect my colleague has talked about, the passenger liability, caters for the third parties within your vehicle. But you, as the owner of the vehicle and your immediate family members, are exposed. So what did we do? We came up with a cover that has an inbuilt personal accident cover for you as the owner and for your immediate family members. At only 1773, you have peace of mind, because any, I'd call any exposures are covered to the tune of 500,000. So I think those are the many aspects that we look at. If we look at the financials that we just posted the other day, it speaks volumes of Old Mutual. And we thank our Green Army, those are intermediaries and our clients out there. We've been able to post good results and positive results. And these also gives our stakeholders and our clients the confidence that Old Mutual does what it does and does it to the best of their ability. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. So I just want to go back to the numbers that you've mentioned. So the first thing that you've mentioned is, if you take a comprehensive insurance, you as a driver is not covered under that insurance. That's correct, Henry? That's correct. So you as Old Mutual, you've obviously noticed this risk, and you're saying, if I add 1773 shillings, I'm covered all the way up to a tune of 500,000, me and my immediate family. So if I'm going to Kisii with my family and then something happens in Narok, I hit a goat or something like that, and something happens, I need to go to hospital, the only cash I need to add over and above my comprehensive insurance is only 1773 shillings.
Sure.
That's correct.
Sure.
The other thing you've also mentioned is the 1,000 shillings, whereby at 1,000 shillings more, I get a full road rescue covering me on three things. So there's the flatbed, which is road rescue, there is the ambulance cover, and there is the safety part of it.
Sure.
So over and above comprehensive insurance, I basically only need 2773 shillings.
Exactly.
And everything in me is covered.
Sure. Exactly. And
Wow.
and remember, you just touched on floods,
Yes.
like what is happening. People are driving at night. Your vehicle stalls for one reason or another. I think for those who've been driving within Nairobi and beyond, you'll agree with me, at wee hours of the night, if you try to flag down your fellow motorists, exactly, nobody will stop.
Yes.
And that causes panic, you're stranded, you seek help, you're not sure about security element, And I think this comes in handy just to give you that peace of mind that we are phone call away at only 1,000 shillings.
Wow.
Thank you.
And sorry, I keep, so I've been insured for quite a while, and I keep getting some really key points that you guys are mentioning. The first thing also, the one thing you've also mentioned in this narrative is the time frame between you getting an accident and you actually, you know, going back to wherever you were before the accident, right? So the turnaround time, and I do understand Old Mutual has set up their own assessment centers so that, you know, that whole process of you need to talk to someone, a third party who needs to send an email, you know, and all these things, you guys have taken that risk and you've developed your own assessment centers with your own experts which are able to, you know, basically make this whole process efficient. So just touch on that again so that, you know, I'm able to understand. I've gotten an accident in Kijabe. What are you guys doing towards, so I've called you, what sort of turnaround times, because that's obviously a pain point for most Kenyans. You get an accident, a vehicle is at a police station for the next 3 months, you need to call like 10 different people.
Sure.
What are you guys doing?
Thank you. So where I sit, I mentioned I'm a sales manager. Yeah. And you know the perception that has always been there in terms of sales, that we promise heaven, but deliver hell. Yes. And more so insurance, we have that perception. So what we're trying to do is to change that narrative and change that traditional mindset. And as Old Mutual, I'll be confident by saying one of our strong pillars is that we are really obsessed by treating our clients right. So we can only be tested once we sell the promise and a calamity has occurred or an accident has occurred on that matter. So what we've done is we've gone back to the grassroots and listened to our client needs. And one of the pain points is just that you've mentioned. Majority of us have claims, and the duration just from you getting the assessment, getting the repair authority, the repairs being done, the time duration is what irritates our clients. And that's what we came to cure by our assessment centers. So what we did is put up very flexible assessment centers within town centers, very accessible. And we've made sure that whenever you have a claim, the first thing to do is notify us and get the documentation, report to the police, get the abstract. But within 24 hours, or even immediately, if you can, our assessment centers are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and there's always somebody in standby, our assessor, just to look at the extent of the damage, do his report and start sourcing with our very credible service providers. And once that is done, within a duration of 48 hours, your vehicle is assigned to a garage with a repair authority. And I think that was one of the things that has driven my numbers as a sales guy in insurance.
Wow. So guys, you've heard it from them. I mean, their numbers match for them. So that thing, I'd go to Henry, and like it's a very simple question that, you know, answers would go from here to town. What are the benefits of insurance?
Oh, insurance benefits are enormous. But today we'll restrict ourselves to the benefits available under the motor policy, and some of them will be generic. One of it is that if one day you wake up and you are at home and you realize that you don't have your insurance certificate, that kind of journey is going to be a hell of it. When you see a cop in front of you,
there's that fear every time.
How much am I going to give? You can imagine the conversation you will have with the cop if he manages to actually check that you don't have insurance. That is one. Insurance gives you a peace of mind. Secondly, other than the third party, the cop or whatever it is, when I sit behind the wheel, that day that I'd forgotten to pick my insurance, even my driving habit will change because of fear that today, if I get involved in a mishap, I am going to soldier the
Jamaboda
costs.
Like this.
Yes. I will deal with the costs of repairing my vehicle, and I will deal with the costs of third party in case I am involved with a third party.
Yeah.
So by having insurance in the first place, it gives me a peace of mind that I am well protected by Old Mutual Insurance Company, and I have the confidence to actually, to drive on the road. I go to a funeral, God forbid, and sorry for what is happening in Central Province. I go for a funeral there, I park my vehicle, if I do not have insurance, my friend, I will go 5 times to go and check whether it is there, because we have had cases where you go to a funeral, you are engaged.
Not to a fuel pump.
When you come back, your vehicle is not there. So, when I have insurance, I have the peace of mind that my insurance will pay in case of theft of my motor vehicle. Wow. Quite comprehensive kind of peace of mind that I require all around. I'm well protected. Secondly, another benefit of insurance is financial freedom. You actually purchase your vehicle before you think about it, because you have actually bought insurance, and if you lose it, under the principle of indemnity, you will be indemnified and get back your vehicle. So you know you will not go to the pocket to replace your vehicle. However, your insurance company will support you replace the vehicle that you have lost or your property. Wow, we fear cases in court. Who wants to go to court? Now your motor insurance will make sure that they hire for you a lawyer to present you in court, pay the legal cost based on the limits of liability, and the damages that will be awarded by our courts will be taken care of by your insurance company. Now, insurance allows you to access credit facilities. Insurance is so important that the bank will actually give you a credit facility if you prove and produce evidence of insurance. So insurance becomes security in itself, so that it enables you to actually get yourself a credit facility by using that particular motor vehicle as collateral, provided you are, you have taken insurance and you can prove that. Now there is what we call convenience. And Old Mutual, our comprehensive motor insurance, if you have purchased that particular package, if your vehicle is involved in an accident, we are readily willing to give you a courtesy car to use during that time that your vehicle is under repair. So that is the convenience we are talking about. As my colleague said, we actually went back to the market, and the insured was saying, I was driving my Mercedes-Benz. Why, once I am involved in an accident, why do you want me to go and start driving my Vitz? No, my Vitz is for my children. So if you have bought the comprehensive insurance, we can be able to give you a commensurate car to use during that options. Now, we have 2 options. You can decide that under this arrangement of car hire, for example, you can decide that because of what limit I have, I want to hire a vehicle for pick and drop. It's the vehicle, we provide you a vehicle that will pick you from home to where you are going, and when you require it, you call it, it picks you. That is one option. The second option, because we are flexible and we understand the needs of our customers are quite different, there are those ones who would want to drive themselves. So we can be able to hire for you a vehicle and you drive yourself within the days that we have agreed based on the contract we have. Now, what happens if I was on my way and I am Beerbox in Kisii, where I come from, and I am involved in an accident? My area of residence, as per the definition of the insurance that is given by Old Mutual, is in Nairobi. I might not be having a house. So if I'm involved in an accident, I'm inconvenienced, Old Mutual gives me the option of actually getting alternative accommodation for that period. As I sort the issue of the police and the like, it will pay for me accommodation in an hotel that will take care of before I can make my journey back to Nairobi. So when you are actually purchasing insurance, it's all about peace of mind, it's all about financial freedom, it's all about allowing you to access credit facility and convenience. So when you choose a package from Old Mutual Insurance, make sure you reap the maximum benefits. Ask what is available and you can be able to get it. Believe you me, my products, our products under Old Mutual Insurance is about what the client wants. We do not want a situation is, this is what we have, take it. No, we have listened and given a solution to our clients when it comes to motor insurance.
Henry, I like that you're actually saying my products, because you have the ownership of, the company that you represent. And let me just ask, and this will be a bit personal. You've obviously never had an incident in the last 20 years. For people like us, the young guys and anyone else out there, are there any tips and tricks that you've used maybe in this period? Do you drive maybe during late hours or early? How do you just make sure that you're not exposed to all these incidents?
First and foremost, insurance, as I said, is a risk transfer mechanism. So the risk is defined by the habits of an individual. One of the risks is how do you and when do you drive? For example, if I come to the office, drive from home, come to the office, park my car, wait in the evening and go back home, chances are that my risk is low because I make 2 trips, and that is the risk that I pose to the company. Somebody else, like my colleague who does sales, his work is to report in the office and go out there looking for business. So his risk and my risk are totally different. Then the second thing is that where do I socialize? If I socialize and I am able to leave my social joint much late in the night, I'll be exposed. So definitely my risk is higher. But it is important to note that personal habits dictate the risk. The longer you take to drive without a risk, the cheaper it is for you, for the insurance company that you are having. Sometimes it is about also being a personal character, being patient on the road. Why? If personally I am seeing a vehicle coming from the other side, whether I'm driving a Mercedes Benz that will just zoom and pass, I should be patient to wait for the other vehicle to pass and I overtake. So the habits do contribute to the loss ratios. Now at the end of it, the less losses you have, the cheaper your insurance will be in it. Now under Old Mutual, we have come up with products based on statistics. We just don't say come in and then this is what our price is. We have done our statistics both for the industry and our own, and we have developed products based on some categories of our insuring public, and when you come in, we commensurately charge you based on what our statistics is talking about. So risk management is one of our key areas. We also advise our clients that, look here, if you have a vehicle and this particular vehicle is driven by 5 people, chances of that particular vehicle getting involved in an accident as opposed to 2 people driving that vehicle for 12 months, definitely you will be a better risk for that person who shares a vehicle with 1 person and another one who shares a vehicle with 5 people at the same time. So these are some of the tips that will actually dictate your loss ratio and your good conduct. When you apply for insurance wherever it is in this market, there is what we call the previous claims history. We visit that in our application form that collects information as we do the pricing, so that we can be able to actually give commensurate rates to our customers.
Wow, those are quite decent tips, and maybe I learned from some of them. Yeah. So I'll go to you, Tim. So I've just got a bit of money. I've bought my first car. What would it mean to choose the right insurance? Obviously, with Old Mutual, how do I don't know how to package this. How do I make sure I've chosen the right insurance for me as a person? Now, sit in my feet, how do I make sure I just go to Old Mutual? You obviously mentioned your track record, 180 years being in the field and all those things, but how do I just make sure that that's right for me as a person? And just to add on this, in our earlier conversation, Henry also mentioned that you guys are working on a package that would be able to give me insurance for a certain period over, say, a certain mileage, say 10,000 miles. If I have, say, 3 cars, do I need to pick comprehensive insurance for all of them, or I can pick, packaged insurance that would allow me just to drive this vehicle for 10,000 kilometers and things like this?
Thank you. I think I'll say first, there is a wise man who said, the beginning of wisdom is learning what to unlearn. Yeah. Insurance is one of the best mechanisms of risk transfer. But what we've had is the traditional mindset, either the know-it-all mentality or the perception of hearsay. Back to your question, why I'm saying so is because if I've bought a vehicle, I'll say, first of all, it's good to have knowledge about what is the coverage and what it entails. Like I've mentioned, Old Mutual, we are privileged to have presence in 10 towns within Nairobi. You can either visit any of our offices. We have brilliant personnel who will take you through. We also have a very huge agency network who represent us in the grassroots levels. These are agents and brokers. The good thing is that we invested as Old Mutual in terms of product knowledge and product training, whereby they are able to guide you as a client on the options that we have and give you the best option, other than what I hear. Insurance doesn't pay, just take a TPO. I've bought a Range Rover, but I want a TPO. There's an exposure. And if I just get a little bit of know-how, I'll get the professional advice in terms of execution. Now, why Old Mutual? Apart from the network coverage, we also have the flexibility in 2 options. One, what you should understand is, what is your budget? And this is the one-on-one conversation that we have with our intermediaries and our brokers. And based on your budget, I'll be able to gauge you on 1, the risk exposure, and 2, a cover that fits within your budget. The other aspect is about the value of your vehicle. I'd wish if you invest like what we paid, Henry had just talked about, there's a claim that we settled for 17 million. I'd imagine if I incur a claim and I don't have the comprehensive insurance, I'll have to go back to my pocket to settle a 17 million bill for me to, move around and maneuver within the city. The other bit is the flexibility that we've had with Old Mutual. Like I've mentioned, we are having Faulu as part of us, and we have a very flexible premium financing. We call it IPF, insurance premium financing, whereby I'll take you through as the expert in insurance, and these are our agents and our brokers, as I mentioned. And based on what you have then, we can come up with a payment plan. And this is what we do because, as I mentioned, we're obsessed with our clients. So you'll tell me I don't have 100,000 and I think I'll go for third party, though I feel my heart is on comprehensive.
Yes.
I'll be able to guide you that through the Faulu IPF, I can be able to stagger this payment. You do not have to pay it as a lump sum, but you can stagger it and pay it within a reasonable duration of time. And should there be any exposures, you have now what Henry was saying, that peace of mind. And I think these are the aspects that we need to have a one-on-one conversation with our intermediaries and our clients as well, just to ensure that they're empowered and they have the know-how in terms of the product knowledge. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Let me just add something on what my colleague has talked about, how to guide which cover that you could be best suited to pick. For example, we have feedback from the market that now the East African region is open, free traveling within, whether on holiday or on business. So what we have also done is that we advise our clients, especially once we have seen that you have declared in the application form that you are a businessman. We assume a businessman will be both internal and within the region. So what we have done is that we have extended our territorial limit as opposed to the competition to the larger East African market. So our comprehensive insurance cover is extended to include our neighboring countries, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and the like. So when you are insured with us, you can be least assured if you drive to Uganda and your vehicle is damaged there. We will come handy and make sure that you are compensated, as opposed to the competition that probably have restricted their jurisdiction within the Republic of Kenya. So we have recognized that some of our customers operate within the region, and we have actually extended our coverage for motor insurance to the African region. The other thing is that once you come in and we assess your requirements, what we do not necessarily do what we call undue influence. We tell you our bouquet of what we have on the table. For example, when you talk of comprehensive insurance, we will tell you, under this comprehensive insurance, we have extra riders that you can be able to, you can come and say, I want cover, comprehensive cover, standard. And then we will give you damage to the vehicle, theft to the vehicle, fire damage, theft. Then we talk about third-party liabilities and legal. Now, in addition to that, we will tell you, look, we have an option for you to extend this particular vehicle to get yourself a car when your vehicle is involved in an accident. We tell you that, you know, Kenya, there is politics throughout. So, and political violence and terrorism traditionally has been an exclusion under the under all the insurance contracts that we do have. We tell you, look here, you don't know when the agencies will go to the road. Okay? We have, because agencies have declared political intentions, so they get categorized. Any acts from the agencies or whoever is rioting, whether it is university students or whatever it is a reality risk in the market. So if you want, here you are, you can be able to extend your policy to cover yourself against political violence and terrorism. So our bouquet is rich. What we do is to explain you what we have, then you choose what fits you. The information is there. One of the principles we impress is treating our customers fairly. In addition, all our contracts now are actually in plain English. There is no jargon to it. So when we give you the contract, we also tell you that, look here, you have days to go through this particular contract. If you have anything that you need clarification, please come back to us and we will explain you exactly what we meant here. And in addition, as my colleague talked about, training is very critical to us. Be it directly our insured, be it our intermediaries, because they represent us, they must understand our products. So we train them on a weekly basis, giving them the details of the products that we have and how they operate, so they are well appraised when they go out there. So come to Old Mutual and you can choose from the options that we have.
Thank you so much, Bwana Henry, and that's really eye-opening. And so we have like a quick 5, just talk about misconceptions. That's normally like a huge issue in Kenya. And so a question for each. So the first one is, you're driving a Vitz, I wouldn't say a small car, but a small car, or rather a decently, not a big car. And then you hit a 16 million Range Rover. The Vitz guy runs away. So just talk to us why this guy shouldn't run away, because that's an obvious misconception. Because the Vitz is on third party, he feels like he's done something wrong. He might not have done something wrong, but obviously there's not notion that I've hit an expensive car or gari ya mheshimiwa or something, and then he runs away, or you know, you don't even go for your car at the police station because of just fear.
I think I can take that. There is that misconception that I have hit this particular vehicle on the road, it's expensive. It's not even a 16 we have affluent guys in this market.
You have heavier guys.
Insuring vehicles, driving on the same road, 50 million plus cars on the market. Whether you have a Vitz, whether you have 50 million, Old Mutual is here to take care of you. And that is why you have taken insurance. If my Vitz hits the 16 million, my policy protects me for third-party property damage. That Mercedes, that particular vehicle that I have hit, my insurance will deal with it from Old Mutual Insurance, because the minimum cover that Old Mutual gives is third-party only. And that third-party only takes care of third-party property damage and third-party liabilities. As a matter of fact, it is important to note that it's not the Mercedes or the 50 million kind of vehicle is hitting somebody and killing him instantly. Yeah. The agony, everything that goes with it, and the benefits that you know we have, as my colleague talked about. The compensation, you don't know about it until the court gives judgment that this particular person you hit on this particular road, my friend, you have to pay this. And let me expound about that party liabilities. It's not about that person you hit on the side of the road only. There are 3 main third parties. You have the people you are carrying in your vehicle and you are not related. They are not part of your household. Household, we are talking of your children, your wife, or your spouse. Those people you are carrying, those are third parties. They can be able to actually take you to court for you to do what? For them to be compensated. Another third party is the pedestrian that you will hit and either you injure or that particular person died. Do not forget that if you are involved in a collision, as much as motor insurance is not about the blame, if you are involved in a collision with a third-party vehicle, those people in that third-party vehicle, they are third parties. Now, you can see all those 3, the claims will flow. But thank you God. Yeah. So Old Mutual will come in, appoint a lawyer to defend you on all these cases. Sure. And once the damages are awarded, you are comfortable, your insurance company, and by virtue, that's Old Mutual, will take care of that. So no worries. It doesn't matter whether you are driving a Vitz, or a small car, or a Mercedes. We take care of all the citizens of this country, provided they have rightfully transferred their risk to us and met their obligation. We will also meet our obligation.
Thank you, Henry. I just wanted to add a bit in terms of what he mentioned, and I want all of our viewers to hear us out. This is a very critical point that you brought out. Whenever an accident occurs, as insurers, what we actually try to stamp into our clients is never accept liability. There are instances that people feel intimidated. I have my small car and you have your big car. For some reason, Henry, I've seen even some people not just doing it by word of mouth, but even writing it down and you sign that I was on the wrong. What we'd urge people out there is, irregardless of the situation, what we look at is the accident has happened, and we say it takes two to tango, right? So by the mere virtue that you're also on the road, there is an element of contribution that you've made towards that accident. So the better procedure and the best procedure is let the traffic commandant come, or the traffic police at the scene, take the particulars, and regardless of who's on the wrong, the police abstract will be out, and if you have insurance, you have that peace of mind. Especially if you have comprehensive insurance, then anything to do with accidental damage or material damage will be sorted by Old Mutual. Thank you.
I mean, that's a very incredible line. And every time you're putting your Old Mutual sticker at the back of your windscreen, that line of never admit, you know, in case of an accident, yeah, never admit liability, it's very important. So I'll just jump to Q&A because of time. So the first question, it's actually hats off to you guys. So there is a 21-year-old guy called Jara from Instagram. So he says they really love your services, or he really loves your services. And being at 21 years old, he's challenging you guys, Old Mutual, obviously, to build a youth platform that can see the youth grow into the next entrepreneurs in this, you know, insurance platform or whatever Old Mutual offers. Any feedback with that?
I think I can respond to that. And one thing we can't avoid is that the youth right now is contributing to the highest population within Kenya. And empowering is what we look at. We have what we call the Old Mutual Foundation. And what Old Mutual Foundation does is it does financial literacy. We've done it with a lot of campuses across the country, whereby we pick our staff who go to empower these students as they prepare to go out there. And this is in the aspect of growth, financial literacy, just to understand, because what lacks between now and then, back then nobody taught you about insurance. You're taught how, you know, to go out, make that money, but nobody taught you how to invest that money and compound it. Yes. And these are what we talk about. It's very interesting because at times you go to these talks and they ask, now what do I insure? And I challenge them and I tell them, right now, yes, you're a student, you live in a hostel. As we didn't have fridges, I'll challenge you right now, yeah. You'll go to these hostels, you'll get a very big screen.
Yes.
You'll get a home theater, yeah. You'll get a fridge. I have an iPhone, you know, young yeah. Gen Zs are flashy. Yeah. These are things that we insure at a minimum of 10,000. You can get a domestic package. You as a student, you need a personal accident cover. You as a student, you need a money market cover. So these are the empowering programs that we have just to ensure that our youths are not left behind. As they say, they're the leaders of tomorrow, and empowerment is one of our priorities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so that's really interesting because, I mean, there's a lot to unpack in terms of just being on the road and either being driven or driving yourself, right? The first one is you're always getting into matatus, they're always overlapping. You're going to Rongai, the matatu is doing like this. And, you know, a personal accident cover comes because if something happens, you know, you need some sort of shield to sort of cover you. So I have a question or a feedback. So the first, there's someone called News and Books. I think this is Instagram. So how do you process third-party claims if a car with third-party insurance is damaged by another car with third-party coverage? How does that, so third-party, they sort of decide to meet on the road? How do you process that? And the other thing, same guy asks, when Kenyans collide at low speed, they leave their vehicles at the middle of the road until police arrive to determine who's at fault, risking another accident. Is this necessary? So 2 questions sort of are related.
Thank you for that particular question, and I like it. because we are looking at a situation where the minimum covers have been taken, that party, protecting that party property damage, and that party bodily injuries. If they do collide, unfortunately, what has happened is that the damage to your vehicle at this particular time is not in question because you opted for that party only. However, now, as my colleague talked about, and that is one of the reasons as to why we say do not admit liability, because you are not in a position to make judgment. Allow the experts to actually make judgment who was to blame for this. Then once that happens, when the police come and say Henry was to blame for this particular accident and Timothy was not to blame for this particular accident, I will report the claim to my insurance company. Remember that motor insurance doesn't care who is much to blame on this particular occasion. Whether it is comprehensive, if it's comprehensive, whether you are to blame or not, we will be able to repair your vehicle and deal with the claim. If you are not to blame, we will still deal with it. So, in this instance, Henry is to blame for the accident, right? So, what I will do is to report the claim to my insurance company. I had a head-on collision with Timothy's vehicle, and the outcome of that particular mishap is I am to blame and there is a damage to somebody's vehicle. So what happens is that I have taken a cover that will protect me against that party property damage. And do not forget, we call it third party liabilities. What does third party liability mean? I owed my colleague a sense of responsibility, duty of care when I'm driving on the road. I have failed to preserve that, and I have exposed him and his vehicle, and probably himself. He's been exposed. So my insurance company will deal with that particular case in court. The insurance company for my colleague will do a demand to my insurance company, and the adjudication will be done in the courts and a judgment given, and my policy under the extension of third-party property damage will deal with that particular case. Alternatively, he can as well sue directly under common law, and my policy will deal with it.
Wow.
Based on who was to blame in this particular case. Unfortunately, the one to blame will actually only get a reprieve because his insurance company will take up the claim and they will count losses.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a heavy topic. The moment you mention courts, everything just goes like this. But yeah, I fully understand. So let me just take you back a bit. So just talk to us. Someone has mentioned about your Old Mutual Sales Academy as of interest to the youth segment. Can you just maybe touch a bit on that?
Now, on the OM Foundation, on what I spoke about was an empowering program that looks after the youth. And we look at it from the aspect of trying to get those who are already in campus as they prepare to face the reality and the market outside here. So it's just a program that we run. It entirely has capable staff members who are running with it. And it runs across all, I'll say all towns within Kenya. We are in Kisii, we are in central Mount Kenya, western Mombasa and all that. And what we're trying to achieve by this is to tap into the talent, one. Two is to empower and give the financial literacy. And three, for those who would want to pursue the insurance market, we also have openings within organizations. We call it the trainees program, whereby you come as interns and just experience what is outside there in terms of the real touch with insurance. And these are very interesting program because we have the privilege to have
an entire ecosystem with the various lines of business and various departments. So I can do internship in underwriting. Probably I don't feel I suit here. And another 2 months, I'm in BD, like where I am, and I feel sales is my docket. Another one will go to IT, finance, and this is just to empower, so that by the time you graduate and come out here, you have an idea and a feel of what it feels to work for a great organization like Old Mutual.
Interesting. That's really good. So, Henry, is road rescue only limited to comprehensive guys, or third party can pay the extra 1,000 for the road rescue?
The road rescue is a benefit provided under the comprehensive option of insurance that we do provide, because as you take the wider bit, you can be able to enjoy some of these particular benefits.
So that pool sort of goes there.
Yes.
Okay. So either Tim or Henry, do you have statistics? You guys use statistics that you've done for pricing. Do you have products that use teledata to offer insurance? I think we had a conversation about, you know, being able to track the vehicles and all this. Do you have something like that?
Yes. What we are implementing is based on what you've just mentioned, and thank you for that question. Right now they say data is the new gold.
Yes.
And out of it you know what to panel beat, what to fine tune to suit the market out there. Otherwise, if you don't play by the ear, then you'll be out of business. So what we've had currently in terms of client feedback through walk-ins and through our intermediaries is that there's something they call pay as you drive.
Yes.
I have 2 cars or 3 cars, and I don't feel why you should charge me for my 3rd car or my 2nd car, which I only use occasionally when I'm going for weddings, graduations, you know, specific drives. As the same way you charge me on a vehicle that I use on a day-to-day basis. So what we've done as a company is just to understand that need, and we are actually tailor-making, whereby we have gadgets fixed on your vehicles, and you can buy the number of kilometers based on your drive, and it's charged on that. However, the bottleneck that we are trying to address with that, Kenyans being Kenyans, if you fix a gadget on my vehicle and track my every movement, then it raises eyebrows. So it's a give and take, a catch-22, but it's a need that is outside there, and we are trying to address the same.
Because I'm coming from a point where I have a 3rd car that I only use for overlanding, and there's another question why about insurance and overlanding in general. But this vehicle only use once every 3 months, going to Turkana and back. And I think a product of paying as you drive, you know, if I can buy quote unquote a bundle of 10,000 kilometers, that I'm almost certain I cannot exhaust, but that's the number that I see I'll use in that sort of 1 year. Yeah. So in terms of timelines, is that product ready, or are you guys working on it at the moment? Or when should we expect it?
Actually, it's already on the testing stage. We've already tailor-made, done the testing, and what we are doing is we are gathering feedback, and we'll be rolling it out soon. You will follow us on all our social handles, and we'll shout about it when we do the proper launching. But it's something that we've gotten as feedback, and it's under process.
Yeah, I'd like that. In the car scene, I'd want something like that. So, Henry, to you, me and you are friends. I come and borrow your vehicle over the weekend to maybe take my girlfriend out, or take my family out, or something like that. And then we get an accident, a comprehensive or third party. What sort of, is there an issue in this, or just because I'm not the owner of the vehicle, there isn't an issue? Like, how would you package that?
Thank you for that very valid question. Our comprehensive insurance, or motor insurance per se, what we have done is that we have not restricted the driving. Our restriction is authorized driving. and licensed to drive the particular vehicle that you are actually driving. Those are the two things that we look at. So if I borrow your car and you give it to me, you have authorized me to drive it. Not only authorizing me, actually to some level, I become the insured. Why do I become the insured in this particular aspect? If I drive this particular vehicle and knock somebody, it is not your negligence as the owner of the vehicle. It is my negligence as the driver of that particular vehicle. Because if I am going to be charged on a traffic offense, you will not be charged because you are the owner of the vehicle, but me as the one who was behind the wheel. So there is no harm giving a friend a vehicle to drive. The requirement is that you have authorized them to drive your vehicle and they have a valid license allowing them to drive that particular vehicle. Otherwise, all the claims that might arise when I am driving that particular vehicle will be dealt with as if you were the one who was driving the vehicle.
That's really good. That's really important. Now, the other question I'm getting is, obviously we've had issues whereby when you're driving in town, NTSA takes a picture of your vehicle because you're doing 100 in a 50 zone, and then you get a nice picture in your WhatsApp with your vehicle. What's the link between insurance, or rather, what's the link between you guys and NTSA, all these fines, speeding? Do we see links whereby all these fines that are accumulating in NTSA would pull back towards insurance and say, okay, this guy speeds every time? Because obviously, in most comprehensive insurance, it's not like you're tracking the car actively. But do you have visuals on what NTSA has in terms of speeding, usage, and all these things?
I'd say I hope in the near future we'll be able to synchronize the systems that we use. It's something that it has been practiced in other countries, and I think we'll get into it. But holistically looking at it from that particular aspect, it has really assisted the insurance companies. And you remember when we had Alcoblo,
Yes.
which is now being reintroduced. So I'm in my joint, and remember my colleague Henry talked about the habits actually dictate also our exposures. So I'm in my social joint, taken a few too many, and at the wee hours of the night, I'm going home as a drunk driver, all right? I've either caused an accident or I've been nabbed. What that says to us is that your habits in terms of the exposures that we have as your underwriter or your insurer is a little bit exposed, right? And now, to the other aspect also of speeding. I'm sure sometime back, I think it was in 2021, there are guys who are overspeeding and as well taking videos with a very good machine, but unfortunately it rolled over. And it was declined. Why? Because speeding, let me not say speeding, but overspeeding or racing is one of the exclusions that we look at. And this data is out there. If it is a case to do with you launching a claim, remember we only pay payable claims, right? And if it needs investigations, then we have the right vendors and right personnel who take care of that. If it means going back to the OB that night, what was booked, if it's going to your call logs to see where you are at that particular time, you see my M-Pesa was paying a bill at Jiweke Tavern or Cueva, Ngong Road. And my statement says I was actually the other side of town. I was coming from Shags, but I did pay, and even the cameras captured. If I go to NTSA and there was a speed gun that captured me on that stretch, and all these data, our investigators are able to prove to us that number one, the statement that you gave us was wrong, and this is the right and correct statement, then definitely your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
So in terms of collaboration, at some extent it is assisting, but we need now that synchronization
Yes.
in terms of even ownership. Whenever you're coming to onboard a vehicle, one of the aspects on the KYC that we need is the logbook.
Yes.
And this becomes very vital because whenever a claim is launched, and for instance, if it's a write-off and I need to pay you another vehicle or compensate you, I'll need that particular logbook.
Yes.
So NTSA will be able to tell us now, based on their database, who's the legal owner
Of the vehicle.
of the vehicle. And these are things that we do appreciate based on the new systems that have come into play.
Wow.
Thank you.
Let me just add on something that my colleague asked, talked about. Motor insurance, as it were, we are actually saying that if you have taken this particular motor insurance, this is a contract of insurance. Any contract has either implied terms and conditions or written terms and conditions. One of the conditions, you've given a very good example of the Bentley, is that you owe that particular contract what we call a duty of care. Duty of care in a motor insurance is that you must make sure that the vehicle is in a roadworthy condition. Secondly, when you are actually driving that vehicle, you should drive it within the confines of the Traffic Act. If, for example, you are caught driving at a higher speed than expected in a certain designated area and you are fined, you will not come to the insurance company and say, I have taken comprehensive insurance and I have been fined. It's not an accident. You intended to drive the vehicle at a speed against the road. The spirit of the contract is that it is within the confines of the Kenyan law. And that is why the jurisdiction of any arbitration under the motor contract is within the jurisdiction of the courts of Kenya and not otherwise, despite the fact that the geographical area remains the East African region.
Okay, interesting. Now, the age-old question that you guys are used to, what's your cutoff in terms of age?
First and foremost, we go as per the manufacturer's recommended period of driving a vehicle. And for small vehicles, you will realize that according to the manufacturer's recommendation, any small vehicle that is up to 10 years of age, the recommendation is that that particular vehicle should be a scrap. Right? However, that manufacturer is from where?
From Japan.
Is from Japan or the US or wherever it is. We know the conditions there and the economic situation is a little bit different. So what we have done for ourselves as Old Mutual is that we have actually extended this particular period from 10 years to 15 years. Okay. You can be able to walk into Old Mutual, propose your vehicle, which is 15 years old, and we provide you with the cover that
So 2010.
you require. Once your head is in Old Mutual, we scrap the age limit for comprehensive.
Okay, that's
Because
really good.
we cannot attract you at some point, and when we walk the journey up to some level, we tell you,
Abandon you.
we are sorry. Now
When
your
it's
car has become too old. We are not.
Roadworthy.
Once you are in,
You're in.
you are in for life.
Yeah.
Provided you make sure that the vehicle is roadworthy and it meets the requirements that our insurance requires. So there is a manufacturer's recommendation. We have extended it, and when you are in, we go all the way.
All the way. So let me just try package it again. That's a very beautiful answer, and I love that the fact that you're in, you're in. I met Old Mutual in 1990, bought my nice Mercedes. Right now it's almost at 5 years old. But it's always been with you guys. So I'm guessing it'll always be comprehensive since it's always been with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
not that far off, but
Yeah.
you get my point.
Yes.
I'll give you a personal example. I met a client at the branch level, and he came in Kenya as a KWS warder from Europe, and he bought his first car in 1986. So when the cover was being issued, you know, the policy numbers take the year. It was too catchy to my eye. And we had a conversation, and he told me, my first car, my first insurer was Old Mutual. Till today, he's insured at comprehensive.
Wow.
At comprehensive
that's
level.
really good.
1986.
That's 40 years. that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to your 20 years beautiful experience, are there incentives for people similar to you? If you've never had issues in the last 20 years, what are the incentives?
Oh yes, they are the incentives. What happens is that motor rates fluctuate over the years depending on the industry performance and the individual company performance. When you drive for a long time without an accident, your rates will remain static. You will enjoy the benefits except when the rates generally go down, your rates will go down. But if they do not go down, they remain static. If you have not been involved in any accident or incident that has manifested as a claim, your rates will not be touched, despite the fact there is that fluctuation of rates
going up
based
and
on
performance.
company performance and industry performance.
Okay.
For those ones of us who have been in the market for quite a long time, motor rates in the 1992, 93, 94 period skyrocketed to 16% of the value of the vehicle. Now that was the best rate. If you have driven for the last 5 years, for that particular matter during that period, and you have not had an accident, we will say the rate is 16% of the value of the vehicle, and they give you a 60% discount on that based on your claims history.
Yep. Wow.
So without
Drive
losses,
safely.
drive safely, you are safe, no inconveniences, you will always reap the benefits of that.
Okay. So, Tim, let me go back to you again on the per kilometer bundles, quote unquote. What happens when I've bought a 10,000 kilometer bundle and the vehicle catches fire in my house, but it's below the 10,000 kilometers?
Come again?
So I've bought this pay-as-you-drive
Pay-as-you-drive.
bundle of 10,000 kilometers. And then when the vehicle is in my house and I've done maybe 6,000 kilometers, it catches fire in my garage. I'm not in a road. Yeah, in my garage or workshop or parking. What happens? Is it still insured or is it outside?
It's still insured. Remember, what we're trying to look at is, with pay-as-you-earn, is the duration of the cover that you have vis-a-vis just giving you an annual cover. That's what we want to achieve. But remember, what Henry talked about when he talked about the 3 types of cover that we have: the third party fire and theft, and the comprehensive cover. Pay as you drive is on comprehensive cover basis.
Then you add.
So it covers the accidental damage, which he talked about. That is the material damage. It covers the legal aspect of it, fire, and theft. Theft can either be partial or total theft. So just to answer your question, that is covered under that particular package. Yeah.
Thank you. So we have 5 minutes to time. So, Tim, your parting shots?
Thank you. I think mine would be just to appreciate this particular session and the viewers who've been able to join us online for this particular session. I'd wish to say that as Old Mutual, we are obsessed with treating our clients right. So we have an array of products, not only motor, we have life insurance, we have medical insurance, investment, and we have good packages under the Faulu microfinance, which is still under the Old Mutual umbrella. So if you need our services, please walk into any of our offices, engage any of our representatives, those are brokers or agents, and we'll be able to give you that peace of mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim. Henry?
Thank you for that particular question or comment. You are safe with Old Mutual. Why? We are fully IFS. We are actually full financial services. We have the banking, we have the life, and we have the general insurance. So when you actually join us, we are self-contained and we can be able to give you 100% financial solutions. Our solutions are not just off the shelf. Our solutions are customized to our clients' requirement based on our surveys that we do, the feedback that we get right from the general insuring public and our partners in the form of banks, in the form of brokers, in the form of agents, and even we have our own in-house supporters who do give us business. With our experience of over 180 years around, we are not small boys, but we are a formidable group of company that is here to serve our insuring public, and we are actually always very dynamic to actually customize our solutions to meet our customer requirements. Our customer remains our focus, and we will always endeavor to give them the best service they can ever get in this market.
Thank you so much, Henry. Thank you so much, Tim. You two guys are a wealth of knowledge. I mean, I know insurance lightly, but from this simple 1 hour conversation, I've learned I can insure my old car. And obviously topics such as personal insurance, topics such as, you know, the academy that you guys are running, because I think that disconnect that you guys are trying to connect of what is insurance, and guys also who are coming into insurance, into banking, into, you know, IFS as a solution in general, into even investments as a whole, it's really important that much as, you know, you guys are doing insurance, you're also sort of taking up your next generation of youths and are coming on board. Again, I can't thank you guys enough, and thank you so much for being able to host us, having this conversation. It's really good having this conversation with guys who are actually in the field. You know, 180 years being in this field, you've sort of learned everything. I'm sure you guys insured trains back then. But anyway, the whole point is 180 years is a long time. Your financials in the last 5 years, I mean, you guys are ticking the right boxes, and let's always have these conversations. I know Old Mutual always has these conversations every month.
Yeah.
Please always keep having these conversations. I mean, someone somewhere could learn something, and that small information can go a long way. And except for that, you guys have a number that you guys can reach. We can reach you guys on. Obviously, it's Old Mutual Kenya in all socials.
Yeah.
There's a number 0711.
Yeah, 0711 065 000.
Yeah, 0711 065 000. So just call that number. Ukiwa Kisumu, Kisii, wherever. They have someone there, so someone can reach out and can get to you. So thank you guys for being with us tonight. We don't take this for granted. We don't take you being with us as well. I've been your host, Abo Diesel, Alex Mwanzo, and thank you so much.